Good afternoon. We have another race weekend coming up in France. We had a break last weekend. And today I want to talk about team orders, something that came up in the recent races fairly often. But in order to dive a little bit into the team dynamics of Formula One teams, I do want to explain what team orders are, because that's obviously going to play a role in team dynamics. Team orders is the practice of teams issuing directives or instructions to their drivers to deviate from normal practice of racing, like they would just race any other driver on the grid. But that's obviously between their team members. So team orders in Formula One has been there for ages. And it was not even weird, and it was even legal for drivers to give up their cars for one another if one of the drivers had an issue. And like similar to what you would see now with the Tour de France, where if there's a race leader have a technical difficulty at the last stages of the race and a teammate is coming up, he would just give his bicycle to the race leader, if they're in the same team, of course. As the controversy around the team orders expanded and it grew, the FIA actually banned, after 2002, they banned team orders somewhat by saying that team orders that could influence the outcome of a race were banned completely. And of course, teams started to implement, quote unquote, team orders very discreetly, where they would give, and you would still hear this today on the race radio from the race engineer to drivers, where they would say your teammate is half a second behind you or slower than you, or you are faster than your teammate is faster than you, has a faster lap. So they would continuously give them lap times in comparison to their teammate, just sort of giving them the awareness that there might be team orders coming into play nowadays, obviously, because it's legal. And as of 2011, team orders were no longer in the F1 regulation. So it's not in there anymore. Teams are free to follow team orders. I would guess to a certain extent, but for now we have seen some controversy over the past few years, but yeah, everything in Formula One is debatable, right? Now, to understand why team orders might be issued, it's important to note that Formula One teams, for the most part, compete for the Constructors' Championship, and not so much for the Driver Championship. Now, there is a little bit of a nuance there, because team sports in general over the past few years have moved away from a team effort, I almost want to say, when it starts to come to sponsorships and things like that, to where you now have individuals on a team that's sponsored by different sponsors, different stakeholders are involved, additional prize monies are given to certain people in the team, depending on the contracts that they sign with these people. Individuals who sign the contracts with these people. It's not a team necessarily only who signs a contract with sponsorships and stakeholders. So sure, winning the championship driver or the driver championship is great and it's fantastic. Puts a spotlight on a driver of a team still. But the Constructors' Championship is where the constructor, where we refer to is any team that's part of the top 10, that's the own top 10 teams that's participating in the Grand Prix season, is called the constructor. But the money that they win from the Constructors' Championship, that's essentially the money that pays the bills at the end of the day for that team. So winning the Constructors' Championship or ending in the first top 10 places on the Constructors' rankings comes with benefits, and it comes with prize money. Now, not every team gets the same prize money, obviously, depending on where you rank from 1 to 10. So the Constructors' prize money is money that's presented by the FIA to the most successful constructors in Formula One for that particular season. Next year, slate is clean again and they start all over. So in order to win prize money, the team wants to score as many points, the team as a whole wants to score as many points as they can in lieu of the grand prize at the end of the year. So it's a dream for any F1 team to win the Constructors' Championship, and the higher up, like I said, they rank, the more money they're going to win from the FIA. So if you look at the Mercedes last year, they won the Constructors' Championship. They got about $73 million. If you look at the cost cap budget for a Formula One team, which was lowered from last year due to COVID, but it's 145 million, that's about a half of their entire budget for the year. That's a huge chunk of money that the team is after in order to continue their success for the next year, being able to employ the right people, being able to employ the best people that they can, and things like that. So to maximize the points that the team can walk away with at the end of the weekend, obviously they are all gunning for that Constructors' Championship points at the end of the day. Now, to get back to team, so that's why it's important why teams are after Constructors' points, and that can result team orders to come into play. So now team orders, the team can decide team orders in advance, or they can decide team orders on the track during the race as the race unfolds, right? So because strategy can go out the window and they have to come up with plan B, something like that. So in general, there's two types of team orders. One is get out of the way, the driver in front, they will issue a directive for that driver to get out of the way, or they would issue a directive to the driver at the back that's coming up to not attack the driver in front. So it's either you can pass or you stay behind, that type of thing. Now, team orders are issued to prevent, like I said in the beginning, to prevent drivers from the same team to race against each other, but it also prevents collision. Obviously, if they start to race against one another competitively, it can cause a collision, for example, then both cars are out. To also conserve fuel and to reduce tire wear, degradation is the word I'm looking for, to reduce tire degradation, and then also to prevent the likelihood of a mechanical failure, maybe as a result of or overheating or anything like that. So that is why they might issue team orders for one of those reasons, to ensure that they walk away at the end of the day with the most points in the Constructor Championship. That's all that they are looking for at the end of a weekend. So if you have any other questions around teams and how teams are operating, please drop me a comment in the comments box. There's a ton of other videos. I've looked at interviews also, and I'm definitely gonna do something about Yuki Tsunoda that was like called the problem child. I have to talk about that. I cannot leave that one sort of unanswered out there. So anyway, so enjoy this weekend, race weekend. If you like the content that I'm putting out, please subscribe to my channel, and I will speak to you again after this coming weekend. Cheers.